Hello, you three. Today we're up to chapter 13 of Harry the Poisonous Centipede, and this is where Harry learns to swim. What came down the uppipe now was like a post that Harry had once seen being driven down into the earth. Only this post wasn't made of wood, it was made of water. When it hit them, it nearly knocked them out. They were washed off the mound of earth. The mound of earth was swept away, and the water began to carry him along in a gurgling, bubbling torrent. Harry recovered first. He managed to grab George with his poison pincers as he was swept past. Of course, he didn't inject his poison. He just used the pincers to hold on to his friend. They clung together. The water post was still coming down, but they weren't under it anymore. The water was all around them like a living thing, but for Harry, this wasn't new. He'd been through it before. He knew what to do. "Swim," he crackled. "Ripple your legs. Make for the earth." The water was rushing, pulling, carrying them. George just thrashed around uselessly. But Harry swam. He actually swam, just as if he'd been a true marine centi. When he had to, he found he could. If he hadn't, George would have drowned. He managed to signal to George to keep upright so his breathing holes didn't get swamped. He even managed to hold George up till he got the idea. He dragged him along, fighting the strong current. And by swimming his hardest, Harry made it to the edge of the water. They dragged themselves onto the black, muddy shore. They lay there exhausted. George couldn't even make a faint crackle. He just lay there. Harry got up slowly and shook the water off his cuticle. He rubbed the water out of his eyes with his pincers. He pushed George. "Come on, get up. You're all right." George lifted his head. Centipedes can't cry, but if they could, George would have been crying. "No, I'm not," he said, and dropped his head again. His feelers stretched miserably along the ground. "I think I'm dead." "You are not. You're as alive as I am." Harry gave him a non-poisonous pinch with his pincers. "Ouch, don't do that." George sat up and shook himself. Harry was feeling really pleased with himself. He could really and truly swim, and he'd rescued George, saved his life. "What about the uppipe then?" he teased. "Shall we go?" "Oh, shut up," said George. But he got up and trailed after Harry along the edge of the rushing river of water, back to where they'd been. The water wasn't rushing down from the uppipe anymore, just trickling. "Why did the humans send water down?" asked George. He was still trembling. "Probably to get us. Mama said they're the most dangerousest things in the world." "Well, they missed us," said George, sounding a bit more like himself. "This time," said Harry. "But don't count your ants' eggs if we tangle with them again." We're to find out what happens in their next adventure tomorrow. Bye for now.